Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared. Hello, 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 and welcome back. I am so excited. You could probably hear how giddy I am. I'm so happy to be talking to Tawny and diving into this movie. We will be talking about Grafted. But before we do all of that, let's just start out. What are you drinking, Tawny?
I've got some water.
Nice.
And I have a cough drop in my mouth. So I hope you can't tell or hear it. And I just have a little bit of a scratchy throat. And so I thought it'd be good to have some cough drops on hand.
Well, we were chatting right before this and I couldn't tell that you had a cough drop in your mouth. So there we go.
Good. So I'm drinking a cough drop flavored water, kind of.
Yummy.
Yay.
I am drinking water as well. Just water. Yes.
Nice.
You know, Friday, I've been drinking way less, and then Friday I had 2 martinis, and then the next morning I just felt off and was super unproductive. I'm like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? No, I'm just like, every time I do that though, I become more uninterested in doing it again. So it was good.
Same.
I'm all about the water.
We did Jade's birthday barbecue a couple weekends ago. And it was a lot of fun, but I drank and I was like, same thing. It's like, just not worth it anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm. It really isn't. It just really isn't.
And I swear to God, I get sick like half the times now that I drink. It tanks my immune system and I get sick.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Not like hungover sick.
Yeah.
Immune sick. Yep, I totally agree.
Like, We've been fighting some sicknesses lately because I got sick and then Jade got sick and now I am sort of feeling sick again. And so we're like really not drinking until we go on our trip to Japan. And even then, I think we're going to keep it at a pretty small amount because of that.
Yeah, because you want to feel good while you're there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's dive into that because that's fun. What have you been doing? What's going on? What's your updates?
Yeah, been working a lot. It's really busy as usual. There's like no end in sight to the busyness at work, which is a good problem to have, I suppose. But God, I'm fucking tired and I'm so ready for this vacation. So we're about a week and a half away from our Japan trip, and it's going to be 2 full weeks.
Jeez. So
and I'm
cool.
So excited. Like so excited. I have been doing some like finalizing of the itinerary and everything. And I feel like it's just going to be so fun and so perfect for us. Like not a fast paced. It's not, we don't have stuff booked every single day. But I did do, I think, 5 things that we got tickets for over the 2-week period. So like, that's not bad. And each day is sort of like, we could do this, or like, we'll be in this area. Here are some options that we could do. So I'm feeling real good about it and super excited. It's just been a lot of planning, but I really honestly haven't hated it. It's after I got over the initial hump of like even how to start planning. Like now I'm like very, very excited.
That is so cool. What is 1 or 2 things you're most excited for? Like top of list, can't wait to do or see.
I am so excited to just shop around. There's like the Harajuku area, which people online are saying like isn't as cool as it used to be. And but when I was a teenager, I like had seen some like Harajuku fashion and it's always stuck with me and I really enjoyed it. And it influenced sort of some of my fashion and style, I guess, when I was a teenager. And so I'm so excited to like go around that area and just do some shopping. And then there's another area that's like a thrift shopping called Shimokitazawa. And it's in the Shibuya area where we'll be staying at first. And that's like vintage and thrift shopping. And then there's a big mall in Ginza, I think. So all of that is like built into the plans. I want to do some of that. That's not really an activity. That's just like shopping. But it's
so cool.
Honestly, one of my favorite, or one of my things that I'm most excited for. But let's see, what else did I book? I booked a tea ceremony. So
Ooh.
It's like a tea ceremony in Kyoto, which is the like sort of cultural, what they say is like the cultural center of Japan. And it's actually first a little bit of a walking tour with a Meiko. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but a Meiko is a geisha in training. So
oh, wow.
It'll most likely be with a Meiko, but it could be with a geisha. And they give you some like cultural background on your little walk to the tea house. So you get to like hear some cool cultural things. And then you go into the tea house and sit down and do a tea ceremony. And you get to try to make it yourself too. That I'm super excited for. That'll be so much fun. And then what else? I'm like trying to remember what else I have booked. I think the only other thing that is like everybody does it is going to the Team Lab Borderless. It's like a big art exhibit. It's all like projections and screens. It looks really cool. Like if you look it up.
Ooh, I wonder if my eldest went to that when she was in Japan, because that sounds familiar.
Probably. I mean, it's like one of the top things to do. So much so that you have to get on and buy tickets immediately, like as soon as they go on sale, which I did months ago. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. That'll be a lot of fun, I think, and really interesting to look at. So
that is so cool. I can't wait to see all the pictures and hear about. Oh, I just can't wait. That's amazing.
Yeah, me too. Oh, you know what else I'll say though? I didn't think of this right away because it is it's like a location, but one of the nights we're staying in a ryokan, which is like a traditional Japanese like hotel kind of, and you sleep on the floor on like futons, and there's like the whole tatami mat, like it's like very traditional Japanese. And sorry, I thought I saw a little window pop up that distracted me. And as part of that experience, you get like, they serve you dinner. I believe it's called like a kaiseki dinner. And it's like a big, like there's a bunch of courses and it's very good. And so we get to do that as well. It was so expensive that we could only do it for one night. So we are going to just roll in there. Like we're going to check in, hang out, use their like public bath, their onsen, eat dinner, like wake up and check out, and that's the end of that experience. But I'm excited because it's like a really, really old ryokan. It's been there since like this 18 or 1700s or something. Like it is old. So that is one of the things that I am most excited for. And I'm like weirdly excited for the accommodations, some of the accommodations. One of our other places that we're staying is an Airbnb. We only booked one Airbnb, but it's like a house. It's like a big, not a big, but it's like a full house that we're renting for a few nights. So that'll be cool because it's kind of like we're in a neighborhood. Yeah. And we get to experience like being in a house in a Japanese neighborhood. And it has like an open air bath as well. So we'll get to like take private open air baths in this little Japanese style house. It'll be cool.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
I know.
Just have
so
to take
excited.
Pictures of everything, even the bath.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to be in the bath, but the bath, everything you're talking about.
I will totally do that. But yeah, I'm stoked. What about you? Because you've been doing school, but you're done with the first semester, right?
Yeah, I just finished my first term last week, and I'm really proud of the work I did. I'm really excited. So far, it's all straight A's, even though that's not necessarily the most important thing. Well, it is, because I could still get a scholarship and I could still stay in the school. But I'm really proud of the work that I delivered. And it was really cool because the work was, you could really implement it. It was practical. The projects weren't just papers. You could take your project and go out into the world and try to implement this program or what have you. So it was really great. It was crunch time. Whew, man. But I did well. I'm proud. I start my next term on Wednesday and I only have one class. And so I already feel a little bit better because it's a lot of work, but thank gosh, it's not a lot of work times two.
Yeah.
And in this class, I'm excited. I'm just taking it further. It's going to be advocacy, strategy, and implementation. So we're going to be looking at things on how to be effective advocates. So, organizational, grassroots, legislative advocacy, helping shape public opinion, influencing policy, like all of this kind of stuff and how to do that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's cool.
Excited about it. Yeah. I love what I'm learning.
I mean, congrats. That's such a huge accomplishment. Especially the double classes in that first term is fucking insane. And then to finish with all A's is crazy.
Yeah, I was really exhausted and I was like, I need to really watch my health because I was pushing it. I was pushing the limits of not sleep and really, but I loved what I was doing. I was and probably a piece of it too. So I was so passionate about it. I was getting real perfectionist around it as well. And there's a point where you just have to stop editing, stop adding, stop tweaking. Right. I had one was a presentation that I would give, to a group of people. And I was adjusting the color of the font to a level that I was like, stop it and step away.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We also, the other cool thing that happened is our niece was drafted to the WNBA. She is such an amazing person who has just been dedicating her whole entire life to basketball since she was a toddler. And so we're very proud of her. We just actually earlier today watched her in her first game. She's a draftee, so they didn't play as much as, she only played for a short amount of time compared to all the other players that have been there for a while. But it was cool to see her on the court. And I just can't wait to see where her career takes her. So
that's really awesome. Cool. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Congrats.
Proud of her.
Congrats to her too. That's amazing.
My other little piece of happiness is, I have lots of pieces of happiness, but my oldest is graduating college next weekend.
Wow, crazy!
Yeah. So we're gonna go up to Flagstaff to watch her graduate.
Damn, so time flies.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
I feel like she just left.
I know, me too.
For college, and now she's done with it.
It's insane.
Damn.
I know, right? Have you been watching anything, reading, or listening to anything?
Not a ton. It's all TV mostly too. And it's all the new stuff. So we've just been watching Andor, The Last of Us, and I've been watching Handmaid's Tale. So it's it feels like a good season for TV right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
I need to pick up Handmaid's Tale again. I left off somewhere. I won't say. Okay, I remember where I left off so I could pick up. But anyways, yes, I have watched a handful of things. TV, absolutely. Last of Us. We've really gotten in. The Studio. We've continued watching that as well. And we've really gotten into Landman. Jesus, Taylor Sheridan. I just imagine him and I'm just saying this in my imagination. This is not fact. Just doing coke and cranking out stories, these stories, because he has to stay up all night. I'm not saying he does. He does coke, but I just imagine this crazed, the story. Because let me say, I tripped over myself.
I'm gonna need you to back up. Who the fuck is Taylor Sheridan?
Okay, Taylor Sheridan is the creator of like Yellowstone. He writer and director. He's also an actor. Sorry, Yellowstone, Landman, 1883. The other spinoff of Yellowstone, which totally forgetting what it's called. It's like all of these epic stories, right? They just span and like all of these interconnected parts. It's like constantly popping up. Taylor Sheridan, Taylor Sheridan. I'm like, whoa, that's why I imagine him. But I don't think he does drugs. I'm just saying, how does he do it all is what I'm trying to say. Like it's insane. And he's such an amazing storyteller. And Landman is great. We're loving it. And then I saw some movies. So me and TT went to see the Minecraft movie. It was very cute.
Okay.
So there's that. I watched Companion one night as well. Yeah. I liked that. That was fun. I watched The Rule of, I was really brief because maybe we'll talk about it at some point, but I was pleasantly surprised with that one. The Rule of Jenny Penn, which if you saw our social media, you already are kind of like, I just don't know. Like, I just don't know. Jeffrey Rush and Lithgow, they were so great. Like the acting was great. I loved the POV of a, of like a convalescent hospital. Like I liked all this. And then there was the other stuff. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I just don't know. So there's that. The other night, Steve and I watched Baby Girl.
Oh yeah. How did you feel about
it? That was fun. There were some pieces I guess we're not going to talk about here, but I don't want to give anything away, but story pieces that I was kind of confused about or wish they tightened up a little bit, but I did like it. I liked it.
Yeah, we liked it too.
Yeah,
we saw it in theaters and it was good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. And then the last thing I saw, a Conclave. We watched Conclave and really liked it. It's very timely considering the Pope has passed away, and so that was very interesting. I liked that too. What is a conclave? The conclave is when the Pope passes away and all of the cardinals get together and choose the next Pope.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. They're all like sequestered, right? They're all they can't get outside media or anything, and they all have to vote and who gets the next one, but it goes multiple times, right? Because you have to have a certain majority vote, which I don't remember what that is. And, but it's a thriller. So there's intrigue and it was very good.
Okay.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
That is very timely.
I think that you should watch it because it's really educational in a way where you get to the kind of the inside of what happens. And there is a twist where you're like, whoa. So that's it. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
There's a twist where you'll say, whoa.
What? I do want to add one thing that I watched though, because we did go see Sinners in the theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would recommend seeing it in the theater if you're able to.
Yeah. We're going to go see it this week. I just couldn't. Well, maybe I could have, but we'll get into that later. But I couldn't.
Okay. But But
we will. My middle daughter was up visiting her sister, so we didn't have anything to watch TT.
Gotcha.
So she'll get back tomorrow and we'll be able to go. I'm excited.
Is that something that we're going to get to in this episode?
Yeah.
Because you did like a little tease.
I did a tease. Okay. Yes, we are going to.
Got it. Okay.
Anything else? Should we get into it?
I think let's hop in.
All right. Hopping in. In case you forgot, we are talking about the movie Grafted. The director was Sasha Rainbow.
I saw that.
Fun.
That's a great name.
This name.
Yeah.
This movie was her feature debut. I did see Kamali and Kofi and Lardy, and so I'm not sure what these were, maybe shorts or movies. But this is her feature debut.
Okay.
The genre sci-fi horror, body horror. The release was 2024, but the streaming on Shudder was released January 24th, 2025. So I did watch it on Shudder. I think we both did. And it was filmed in Indonesia. I have some new facts. I had ChatGPT help me. I was like, hey, help me put together these notes. So this is what it came up with. Indonesia. So our cast, Joanna Sun is Wei, Jess Hong is Angela, Eden Hart as Eve, Seppi Toa as Jasmine, Jared Turner as Paul, which was Wei's chemistry professor. I added that because I didn't remember what his name was. Mark Mitchinson as John, so he was the disfigured, empathetic, homeless man. And Zhao Hu as Auntie Ling.
Okay.
So hopefully I said all these names correctly.
Yeah. What were you saying earlier? Or something about Indonesia?
Oh, yeah. The country it was filmed in is Indonesia, and the language was Indonesian with subtitles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said that and I just missed it, but I think you might have just said Indonesia.
I just said I'm sorry.
I was like, what about
I think I
Indonesia?
just said the country was Indonesia, and then I continued on. Sorry.
Okay, you know what?
Thank you for clarifying, because there might be other people listening going, what? About Indonesia?
Gotcha. Interesting that they shot it there, because I assumed it was in New Zealand because it's set in New Zealand, but
yeah. I mean, unless ChatGPT tricked me.
It could have.
It could have been an Indonesian movie shot in New Zealand. Oh, we might need a fact checker.
I don't think so, though, because all the credits and stuff were in English.
Okay. Stats. The box office was 264,335. That is based off of the New Zealand release.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 77%, IMDb 5.6 out of 10, and Letterboxd 3 out of 5. The award, some awards, not really awards, but some things that popped out that it was given acclaim. It premiered at Sundance 2024 and received a standing ovation for its bold visuals and fearless storytelling. Many critics called it a breakout for both Rainbow and the lead actress, Joanna Wei. Critics have praised Joanna for her for carrying the film's emotional weight while also pulling off the intensity required in a body horror performance. And she's been described as someone to watch. She's been described as someone to watch in genre cinema going forward. All right, little summary here. When a brilliant but socially isolated student inherits her late father's controversial scientific research, she becomes entangled in a haunting experiment that blurs the line between identity and obsession. All right, Tawny, how did you feel about this movie?
I really liked this.
Yay.
Which is probably no surprise. I feel like it is very much in the vein of The Substance. Like, for some reason, you give me a movie about, you give me a body horror movie where there's a weird vial of like weird colored liquid that you have to inject. I'm in. I don't know why. This is my new favorite subgenre. But I was like, yes. And then even the end credits with the like music, I think it was like sort of electronic type music, reminded me a lot of The Substance. And I was like, wow, this is great. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was just gross but in like a body horror way, which I like, not in a gross out way, like vomit and stuff, you know? It was gross though.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that she did a really great job acting.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, just it was gross.
Yeah.
The meat sounds reminded me of stop motion.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about stop motion too. And there were a couple moments where I was like, oh, is this movie going to do that? Is it going to go as far as that went? And the answer was like, basically, yes.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. How did you feel about it?
I really liked it. I did. I liked the look, the feel. It was disgusting. It was emotional.
Yeah.
I really, really liked this movie.
There was something like, I don't know what, I wish I had a better word for this, but there was like something kind of bubblegummy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, you know what I'm saying? You get it. I don't have to explain it further. Yeah. And I liked that a lot.
Oh, I don't know if I saved it. I should always save everything that because there was somebody that said something about this bubble gum body horror.
Yes.
I don't know if I've saved the quote in my notes, but yes. Somebody had called it that, a critic had.
Okay. I don't feel crazy.
Awesome. You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
So everybody, turn back now because we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie. All right. But before we do, to what I was alluding to earlier, just a little surprise. So people may totally cancel me about this, but I have a special guest who watched the movie with me.
Oh.
And wanted to share why she liked the movie. So one moment. Okay, so yes, TT watched this movie with me. So here's what happened. She didn't see the opening scene. It was a little bit after that, not much. What it was like, maybe I'd been watching it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she came in and she's like, Mom, I want to let's watch a horror movie together. And I'm like, well, honey, I'm watching this horror movie. I got to watch it for the podcast. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, well, I mean, you can watch it right now nothing's happening. And I'm sure there's going to be a transition where it's very clear. And I feel like there is a transition, and we'll talk about it where it really starts going off the rails after the opening scene, of course.
Yeah.
And so she sat there and she was watching it, and then she just watched the whole thing. So
okay, let's get it.
Let's 1 second. Sorry.
TT's take. You guys also, we did not coordinate this, but we're all wearing our Two Chicks shirts.
Yes. Two Chicks.
I mean, you guys might have coordinated that, but not me.
I said, you should, if you want to wear this, I'm going to be wearing mine. And then I saw you and I texted her, wear the shirt. Tania's wearing a shirt.
Okay.
But I thought what we could do is just really quickly have TT share what she liked about the movie, because it's clearly not okay for 11-year-olds to watch. We don't even need to ask her. We don't even need to ask, do you think 11-year-olds can watch this? Because the answer is no. So instead, I thought we could have a TT's take, and she could just share from her 11-year-old point of view what she liked about the movie. Is that cool?
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
I want to know.
All right. Yeah, so tell us, what did you like about the movie? Share whatever you like.
Okay, so it was really gory. And I covered the blanket over my eyes for some parts. But overall, it was a great movie, and I really liked it because I liked the storyline, and basically.
She had brought something up that during the movie that I was like, very nice. She had said, this is a really interesting telling of what it's like to have what it's like to be a girl, a woman, and have pressure of what you should look like and what's ideal to look like, and how to make it so that you feel like you're fitting in. And she said it way more eloquently than I did, and I kind of did just now, and I kind of did a double take towards her, and I'm like, very nice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And the fitting in and assimilating, like that's one of the things that I wrote too, is just like there's obviously a theme about assimilation, like not just from a beauty standpoint, but also from like a cultural standpoint. You know, they see that sort of push and pull between her and her cousin. which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. So what made you decide to stay and watch the movie? Because at first you were only going to watch it until it got gory. What made you stay?
Because I thought it was really interesting on how she felt so jealous of other girls.
Mm.
And it's a really big thing in life.
Yeah.
Just love yourself.
Yeah, I like that. Just love yourself. What was your favorite scene?
There's a lot of good parts, but
Share those your favorite good parts.
I know a couple that I really like.
Yeah.
But some that really shocked me was the ones that were like towards the first of the movie when I started watching. I was expecting when Angela and her were in a fight at the house, I wasn't expecting her to go for her eye. I was expecting her to go through the throat. So it's just the hand placement, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But
And how many times were we like, okay, can we take the chopstick out of the eye?
yes.
Can we please remove the chopstick from the eye? And
God, you think that until it actually happens, and then I was
Yeah.
like, ugh. Like that one gave me a little bit of a shiver, like full body. I was like, gross. It looked good and scary.
Yeah. What was the other one you wanted to say?
Probably when she was just like running around at the end with her red face. That was a pretty cool shot.
Oh, yeah. When we were watching, there was that period of time where the first face graft was going to happen, which we'll get into more detail later. And I was like, all right, TT, this is the time
Yeah.
for you to leave. You could turn back now. Because I felt like that was the big transition into the most gore that was going to be happening. And she was just like, this is cool. I want to watch it. So is there anything else you want to share with the audience, with all the listeners?
Yeah, probably my least favorite part of the movie was at the end when the homeless guy and her merged together.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
terrifying.
Why? Just because it was scary?
Well, it's just like the hand on the chin, and it's like, wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you think that was like the grossest part? Is that why you just didn't like the way it looked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Fair
What's scary?
enough. Should the listeners go see this movie?
Yeah.
Unless you're 11? Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for popping on the show and letting everyone know what a terrible mom I am. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It was fun to watch a horror movie. We're going to watch another horror movie tonight. But maybe we'll.
Yeah, it was good to hear
Yeah.
your take.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're
Hope
good.
that was okay.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Wanted to surprise you.
Yeah.
I was like, do you want to surprise Tawny and just like pop on here? And, okay.
It's really interesting that she like does like it grabbed her attention enough to want to keep watching.
Yeah, because she was seemingly sad because she wanted to watch a movie with me, but I had to get this movie done. I didn't want to push it off. And yeah, I felt with the pacing in the beginning, there's definitely going to be a big transition. It's going to be clear to me when shit's about to go down. So I told her you can stay and watch it with me. And when that happens, I'll let you know. I was glad there was definitely underlining sexual things, with the teacher, teacher and Eve. I believe there was something that happened between them before TT came in. So that was like right before. And then the only other one besides you can tell that they had a romantic relationship was we're watching when Wei is inside the lab, and then it cuts to his office, and he's
They're banging.
They're banging. Thank you. And TT goes, oh, and covered her head. And then I was also just like, oh, disgusting. And it was super quick though. They were just like, oh, someone's in the
Someone's
lab
here.
and, all was fine, but she covered her face. And then I told her, okay, it's cool. They're going to the lab. All right. So now that we have everybody's take on the movie, let's dive in. My first note was, oh my God, that opening scene. Well, not really opening, but the beginning with the dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, that was great. Great setup.
Yeah.
Way to just establish what's going on immediately. And then what a traumatic fucking experience for her to go through.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So for everybody, the dad was working on this science to graft, to take flesh and put it on a wound, and it grafts itself to your face beautifully, flawlessly, but it grafted his whole face. It went over his mouth. So then he took a scalpel and just slicing his mouth over and over again because it kept regrafting over. Oh my God. And then it's over his whole face and he's on the ground and his daughter's just stabbing his mouth with the scalpel, trying to open up. Oh,
that was fucked.
That was fucked. Yes, it was. In such a good way. It's such a good way. Wow. I loved that.
Me too.
I know it sounds so.
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then they show her like later, obviously with some family members, and you can tell that she's like picked up the mantle. She's got all these like pictures of, or she has like body parts of bugs and pictures of skin and things, and you are like, oh, this is about to get gross.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She's taken on her father's work. And yeah, she has like this, I mean, it looks like a
birthmark. A
Port Weinstein birthmark that's cobblestoned is what it's called when it gets really thick and bumpy, just on her chin. And it's just so sad. One part of it, I think Wei was listening in on her mom having a conversation, I think, with her aunt, and she was saying how everyone calls her a monster.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. So terrible.
Yeah.
I have so many notes. I don't even know where to dive in.
To begin.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. So maybe we talk about that. Because this movie talks about bodily autonomy, identity, transformation, adolescence, female adolescence specifically, and sisterhood, medical experimentation, the patriarchal control.
Yeah.
A woman of color in science, colonialism. I have notes on Western beauty standards, all of this stuff. So maybe I'll start with creepy facts. Okay. So we talked a little bit about, and we're going to talk more about the just the gore, the body horror. And the movie's prosthetic and body horror effects were praised for being viscerally effective without relying on overdone CGI.
Yeah.
And specifically, Wei grafting Angela's face onto her own, it took weeks of planning and layers of prosthetics to pull it off. According to interviews, this moment required multiple layers of practical prosthetics and meticulous body modeling. It was one of the most time-consuming scenes to film, and it is meant to evoke both empathy and revulsion. Critics also describe this as the film's turning point, where Wei's desperation fully crosses into madness, and the film's commentary on self-erasure, assimilation, and identity hits in the most literal and horrifying form.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. But that's interesting to me that it's prosthetics. Like, I assumed that they took that actress and just gave her a prosthetic tooth, like a fake tooth, to make her look more like Wei. But is it actually the actress for Wei with prosthetics to look like the other actress?
No, I think it's they're talking about the main transition point where she's cutting off the face and putting it on her own. That whole thing.
Gotcha.
That piece.
Okay. I guess I was thinking after, like as because it does sort of like melt like into her skin and become seamless, and then she looks like her cousin. And I was like, whoa, what a smart idea. I would assume that's how they did it. Like later, once the transition is done, they had that actress just be like with a tooth. And I was like, man, that's one way to save some money, huh? Like, you just swap around your actors, and it would cost so much less for just a little fake tooth,
Yeah.
than other things. But yeah, I was impressed.
I think that worked really well with Angela because they are the same skin tone. Angela is taller, but you kind of forget that once she's not standing next to Wei. I was disappointed a little bit. I love this movie, so I wasn't disappointed huge, but I really wanted to see Eve's face on Wei. Like I wanted, because they're so different. Eve is super fair, blonde, blue eyes, right? So I wanted, because it wouldn't match.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see it not matching. Instead, they have the actress who did a phenomenal job. She did a great job, but she had her body, which was very different than Wei's, her skin tone, her hair, everything. And I just, the horror loving part of me wanted to see that mismatched face on the mismatched body.
Yeah.
with hair that was, if you were to bleach blonde your thick, beautiful black hair, to bleach blonde yourself in your bathroom, it's gonna look like shit.
Yeah.
But it was the actress's hair, so she looked fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted that. It didn't take me out of the whole thing because she did such a great job acting crazy. It was so good. But still, I wanted to see that. I said to TT, I said, oh, I hope she wears that other girl's face because it won't look natural. But
yeah. But no, to go. I also wonder, like, in the context of the movie, or in like the lore of the movie, I guess, like, was that a wig, or did the graft sort of like go into the hair? Like, how was her hair blonde all of a sudden?
I think it was meant that she dyed it because she removes the face, her hair is bleach blonde.
Right.
Like
it stays.
But it doesn't look as good as the natural actress's hair.
Okay, I see.
It looks a little blotchy and stuff. It doesn't look as perfectly blonde.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's just like off camera, off screen. We don't see her do it. But
yeah, I think we're just like, oh wow, she's her now, and we don't really think about it. But I was like lasered in on it. I wanted to see what she looked like with her blonde hair after.
Yeah. I was like, I kept waiting for someone to realize that it wasn't Angela in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think it was a great thing, and it made sense that they didn't, because at least her one friend, Eve, is not like a very nice or thoughtful person or concerned with anybody else. And so it makes so much sense that she wouldn't even notice that it's not her. And they notice something's kind of up, but like no one just, it just goes, their lives just go on as normal. Like they don't really make a big deal about it. And everyone in this movie is kind of a shitbag.
Mm-hmm. Self-absorbed.
But a lot of them.
Yeah, they're self-absorbed for sure, right? Yeah.
Like the teacher is a fucking dick.
Ugh.
Yeah, Paul and Eve and Angela is kind of fucking mean too. So the only people who like really aren't shit are Angela's mom, like the neighbor lady, and the other friend. I don't remember her name. But Jasmine, the one that is nice and tries to sort of bridge, reach out to Wei and be there for her. I was afraid that was going to be a trick, but I'm glad that it wasn't. But that part really sucked to watch her die. I was really sad about that. And so was Wei. She was like apologetic. Anyway, sorry, I'm like all over the place now, but
no, that was so good.
Just bringing it back to the like her posing as these different people. I loved that she actually wasn't great at it. I kind of assumed that as soon as she was Angela, she was gonna like be able to pretend like she was her flawlessly, and I think that could have been creepy. But I'm really glad that it wasn't that way, because it was a lot more realistic, quote unquote, in this sci-fi movie. But I love that all the way through, and so that means that all of these actresses are really great actresses, because the mannerisms and the body language and the way that they're carrying themselves like is so much more Wei than it is their other selves, and that was just really well done.
I totally agree. They are amazing. They were polar opposites of who they were. And oh my gosh, it was so good. There's like all these things, all of these pictures popping into my head from the movie. But with like Angela, when they were in the coffee shop and Eve was like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. And she's so like so creepy. And people were asking her, because Titi had said to me, she's like, why does everyone keep asking her, like, are you okay? And I'm like, because look at her, she's creepy. Like compared to who she is normally, she's acting so creepy. And she's like, oh yeah, that's true. And how she would try to wear her trendy clothes in a cute way, but it was always just off.
Yeah, you just tell it wasn't working.
I loved it when she was Eve and the neighbor lady came over to complain about the dog, and she was out in the rain with like she was just so weird. She's like, she's not here, and she was like absolutely what am I trying to, she's lost her mind. It's just so, oh my God, she's so good. All of these actresses are so good.
Yeah. Like what that's so next level, because you've seen some people act like their character acting like another character, but like never like this. This is like threefold, three different actresses like all having to like act like one character and another one. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great from that perspective.
Yeah. And if you guys are lost, so we told you she carries on her dad's research. And she's in a science class with this disgusting jerk of a teacher who's having sex with Eve, and giving her A's in the class. And Eve is like blonde, beautiful cheerleader looking type. And Angela and Jasmine they're all a group of friends. And so anyways, he has lost his grant for whatever research he was doing. And Wei wants to be a graduate or a lab assistant, and he starts to see the research that she's doing and takes it for himself. This brings me to he's a dirtbag. The very second, I think, disgusting, I just felt like I was going to pass out, was when Wei was slicing her own leg open to graft the flesh onto her and to test it. Oh my God, with that rolling cutter thing. Like,
oh God.
Oh.
Yeah, I was also like, oh God, you've never seen this before. Gross.
Yeah.
Like,
stop. It was like a vegetable peeler type thing. She had a bunch of marks on her legs. Like she was, gosh, well, I guess that's what her dad was doing to himself. Yeah. Because he was testing everything on himself. Oh, God. That was bad.
That was bad. I forgot. I blocked it out.
Yeah. Because it just zooms in. Just going. Oh, she's cutting it. You're just like, this is like horrible. And then like all these really close-ups of the flesh that they're manipulating and injecting and grafting and I feel like I'm going to pass out right now.
No, I was like, as soon as I started the movie, we ate some breakfast this morning and like I got some like Starbucks. And so I ate a bunch of sugar and I was like not feeling great. So I started the movie and I was like, that was a bad call. Like, because now I don't feel great and I'm watching this gross movie, but it was okay. I toughed it out and we were fine by the end. But
I love when, so then it works and she goes home and gets in a fight, like T was talking about, gets in a fight, stabs Angela in the eye. They're just fighting because Angela, you really feel for all of these characters because there's a level of Angela's also trying to fit in, right? She's trying to assimilate. She's trying to fit into this. I actually have something on this. So I have this. A few notes under Western beauty standards. So Wei is constantly othered, not just as an international student, but as someone who doesn't fit into the ideal of Western femininity, tall, polished, socially fluent, light-skinned. Then her cousin Angela, she does conform to these standards, right? She's glamorous, hyper feminine, socially dominant, and becomes a symbol of how Western beauty ideals are both aspirational and oppressive, right? Through friendships and such. The grafting process itself can be seen as a metaphor for self-modification to meet oppressive standards. A body horror take on like cosmetic surgery culture and the obsession with assimilation like we saw in The Substance. And then the horror of being physically reshaped against your will reflects how beauty standards often push women, especially women of color, to harm themselves just to be accepted. Those are the notes I have there.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this was the most prominent theme.
Mm-hmm. There was something really interesting I wanted to talk about that ties into this about colonialism was something that came up. And so I just looked into that a little bit more. So set in New Zealand, the film centers an Asian international student navigating a Western academic system. So Wei's body and mind are exploited for the benefit of a Western system, mirroring how colonial powers historically extracted knowledge and labor from marginalized cultures. Also, the scientific plot recalls colonial era experimentation, where non-Western bodies, especially women's, were dissected, altered, and discarded. And one critic compared it to the legacy of civilizing missions, where colonizers claimed to improve indigenous populations while actually erasing them.
Interesting. That's so, well said. Because I mean, she is like, and you said it earlier too, in something else, but like erasure, like self-erasure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I feel like, because we didn't really. That was something I don't remember us talking about in The Substance, self-erasure. It was really just like this improvement. But there's that total element of self-erasure. And I think what they're saying here of women of color as well. I remember when I was in college learning about hair politics, right? And the straightening of the hair and like all of these different things. I just never heard of it presented in that way of like self-erasure or definitely erasure from like in colonialism and coming and their erasure of people. But like even self-erasure.
Yeah. I really like that moment too. And I feel like it's such a poignant, quick moment where she takes those girls out and passes the what is it, chicken feet to Angela, and she's like, oh, it's your favorite, but she's like pretending like it's not. And then you see her later when Wei comes home and she's eating them on the couch. It's like, yeah, this was good.
Yeah, because these are her best friends, but really?
Yeah, but really? Are they?
Because she can't even like a food that, say that this is one of her favorite foods because they'll judge her and think she's weird and think she's gross. And
yeah. And yeah, totally. I really also liked that very first moment where they meet. There was some really great like music or something in that way that they showed Angela from the perspective of Wei, and you could see Wei just immediately idolizing and putting her on a pedestal, and like I was like, I know where this is going. I know where this movie is going. She's about to steal that girl's face. And
yeah, she was looking at her eyes and her lips, and it was like all zoomed in on Angela's face.
Yeah.
Yes, and you hear even this scene that you brought up, this dynamic between Auntie, right? Auntie saying, Wei speaks Chinese and she does this and she's studying. She's getting her own degree. She's going to be able to take care of herself because her husband has left her and left them in like a precarious situation. So the auntie is Auntie Ling, right? Let me see really quick. Auntie Ling is going on and on about that, about how Angela's dad left her. But she's like, she'll be able to take care of herself and this and that. So the auntie is idolizing Wei, or just she's very proud of her. She's accomplished. This is how you should be, Angela. But then Wei is idolizing Angela. That's how I want to be. And Angela's just like, I want to be myself. Everyone leave me alone. Yeah. But really, she can't even be herself, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really loved the scene where Wei was Angela Wei. She was pretending to be Angela. She's making out with her boyfriend. Oh my gosh, when he kissed her the first time.
Yeah,
and she was in awe. And I was like, oh, this is probably her first kiss ever.
Yeah.
And it was just so nonchalant. It was just because he's kissed Angela lots of times. So he's not even thinking about it.
Yeah, I loved that moment because you did see her be like, oh
whoa. My God. Yeah, whoa. That just happened. But then they're meeting and they're having a picnic and they're making out and her face starts falling off. Oh my gosh. And it fell off onto his face and he panics and backs off a cliff.
That sucks.
I thought maybe she was imagining all of that at first.
I did too.
Yeah, right? But nope, then he was gone. And I was like, oh shit, that all just happened.
It was so wild that I was like, this can't be real. But it was.
It was real. And she needed a new face after that.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh, it was so great. Let's see what I have here. So just going along with women, so other things like women of color in science. So Wei, a woman of color pursuing science, tries to reclaim her father's legacy. And instead of empowerment, she's treated as a tool for others' ambitions. And this represents how marginalized people are often excluded from ownership of their own knowledge and work. And something else with graduate work, if you are a student assisting a professor, I believe the professor does own all of everything that comes from that project, and that you could get, what is it called? Like credit, like your name, like a credit, but it is considered the professor's research.
Interesting. That makes sense. I feel like. But in the context of this movie, this guy is such a fucking sleazebag.
And it wasn't his research. It was 100% her research.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because it wasn't even.
Yeah. He said, hey, let's do this together. But it wasn't like, hey, this is my research. Why don't you assist me on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, cool. Your father was a great scientist. And so you're doing his stuff. I'll go ahead and steal this. My favorite / least favorite part is later when he's talking to his class about this very thing. And he says that a bunch of women did some experiments and that the men took all the credit for it. And he's like, how you feel about that, ladies? I was like, I hate this guy. Go ahead and kill him.
Yeah, he's gross. And what happens to him is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So now this surprised me. He figured out it was Wei. Okay, sorry. So Eve is at his house, Eve Wei, because it's Wei is Eve. And she is so off from how Eve usually is. And these people are so self-absorbed that he doesn't even recognize that her hair is, to give you an idea, if you haven't seen it, Eve is just like, her hair is always polished and put back. Her makeup is perfect. Her outfits are perfectly, like, she tries to make sure everything is perfect and that she is perfect in every way. Way Eve. Her hair is blonde, it's scraggly, and like she just jumped in a pool and has been like in The Last of Us for a while. It's just like hanging down. She has the new dress on, but it's like her way she's holding her body is all kind of closing herself in, like hiding herself. She has like this pair of socks with these platform sandals, and she's just clunking around, and he doesn't even notice because he's so enamored with himself that he stole Way's research and he was able to get the grafting to work. And doesn't even notice that she like, if she walked, Tony, if you walked in, I'd be like, whoa, Tony, is everything okay?
Yeah, but he doesn't give a shit. He's like, he's got to collect all of his drugs to do because he's celebrating that he was able to do this. That's what he's mostly concerned with.
Yep, he just wants to use her, just wants to sleep with her and use her.
Yep.
But she leaves and he glances over and he to his like cubby area, and he finds that the Way's notebook is still there, but he sees that the vial is missing, right? Yeah. And he just assumes that is Way has killed Eve and he's put all of that together.
I guess I assumed that he hasn't put all that together, but he thinks that she stole it.
Like maybe Eve made, or maybe Way made Eve steal the vial?
Or maybe she had stolen it at some point.
Oh, okay. But just because Eve left and he watches her leave, he walks over to his drugs, and then he glances over. Okay, so you just think maybe it happened. So she stole the vial, she left, he glanced over, saw the vial was gone, and went, "You bitch," or I think he said, "See you next Tuesday," I believe. But he was, and then he just went over to Way's house, and I was like, he could have, because of how the grafting works, but it's a lot.
It's a big jump. That's why I'm assuming he didn't make it that far. Because he also seems shocked when he gets to her house and Eve's car is out front. Like, it seemed to me like that was a discovery, you know? Okay. So that's what I assumed. But as I'm saying it, like, I realized that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense either. Like, he had just been digging around in that hidey hole for drugs. He probably saw that the vial was in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I don't know. That one's a little like iffy to me, but.
Yeah, because he could have thought that because of, I think even because of the grafting, I don't think you would have, I don't know. I don't think you would have gone there that she killed this girl and grafted her face.
And is wearing her face.
Yeah, I just don't think you would. Maybe he thought that she convinced
Eve to
steal it, possibly.
Yeah, I think that's a better sell.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talking about this douchebag, so I just have patriarchal control. I have a couple of notes here. We probably talked about it, but we definitely talked about it in the substance. The entire plot is driven by men attempting to control, replicate, or perfect the female body. Because even with the dad, and he loves his daughter, and he, obviously doesn't want her to feel like an outcast, he is still trying to perfect her. She has this blemish that he has as well. He has that birthmark on the side of his face. And he probably had a hard time growing up. And he doesn't want her to go through that. Totally get that. But it is also a man trying to perfect. And then, of course, the teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
The medical experimentation are positioned as advancements, mimicking real world histories of medical abuse against women and minorities. And then this whole movie raises questions like, who decides what's worth fixing in a body? Why is the female body so often the site of experimentation? Why are we only always looking at how do we perfect the female body? versus other bodies?
Yeah, those are great questions.
We are not going to answer them all, but maybe you could pause the episode right now and contemplate those questions and then rejoin us. I'm just kidding. But I mean, we went on and on and on in the substance about this, but I just love these female directors.
Yeah.
Really approaching this in a impactful and graphic way.
Me too. I mean, it really is there's something very refreshing and cathartic about it. That's what I loved about The Substance. It's what I like about this movie. And it's what looks like is interesting about The Ugly Stepsister, which we are both very excited for.
Yes.
I'm loving these themes in these movies. And I think it's such a rich playground for that type of message, you know? Like, I think I don't know what I'm saying. I'll stop talking.
I love a movie that makes me think. I love themes.
Me too, though. Me too. I was also thinking that watching this movie. I was like, I just love movies that are a little bit deeper. They've got a little bit more, they're meaty, you know?
Yeah. And it's in a way you could definitely say, you could say this is in your face, but I would say, no, how do I say this? I don't feel like it's handed to me in a way that bothers me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very thoughtful and purposeful. Everything that, like, if something happens and I'm like, oh, that's what they're saying here, but it's done in just such a fuck yeah kind of way. I love it. So hopefully somebody pieced together what I meant there, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but that's how I feel. On this medical experimentation, I just had this one note. The film critiques how institutions exploit vulnerable individuals in the name of progress, echoing real-world cases like forced sterilization and the historical eugenics programs. Got real deep.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this about sisterhood and adolescence, because I didn't think of this. I think I did with the adolescence, but I didn't really think of the sisterhood. But this film with Wei, and actually with the other girls, really taps in to the horror of adolescence, or the scary parts of adolescence, especially for girls. They're changing bodies, social exclusion, and longing to belong. I really liked that. And also, it looks at sisterhood, and I didn't even think about this, but sisterhood is as both a source of pressure and potential solidarity, but the film leans into how competitive and cruel it can also be under patriarchal expectations.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's this like very weird catty thing going on sort of between all of them in different ways, because I shouldn't say catty, that's not the right word, but there's competition.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, there's competition for Auntie Ling's like praise and affection between Angela and Wei. And then you've got the Paul the teacher's affection. Like Eve has that, but is worried about Wei having that, and then accuses her of sleeping with him, and makes like that scene with her saying like, that's not how we do things here. We don't sleep with teachers to get A's. It's like, bitch, that's exactly what you're doing. The hypocrisy and the jealousy was so funny and weird, because it's like not what was going on at all. But for her to treat her so badly for not even doing what she was doing was crazy. And then you have the jealousy of Jasmine coming in and being a lab assistant, and Wei immediately is on guard because she's the lab assistant. And so there's this constant competition of, I can only have this, nobody else can have this too, which is so prevalent in adolescence especially as a woman. And I feel like that sometimes even carries into adulthood or young adulthood for women. So that was like, yeah, it was a cool way to showcase that.
Yeah, I think it really highlights the complex relationships between women very, very well, because there's that element, and I know we've talked and I've experienced this, not with Tawny because she's amazing, but I've experienced this before where, you have these friendships where you think they're friendships, but are they if you can't even tell your friends what your favorite food is? Because they might think it's weird, so, or they might cut you out of the group because I don't know, or fitting within this box of what they want you to be or what they think is right to be or whatever it is. It's just such an excellent job. See, and
frenemies.
Frenemies. And I don't think that this was just beautiful, like you had mentioned earlier, beautifully displayed just in the dinner scene.
Yeah.
So subtle, but you felt it. You knew what was going on, and you could probably, because I know I did, say, oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, these are my best friends. These are the people I go to. These are the people, that I spend my time with. But actually, I can't even be fully me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt it when she was caught red-handed, when she was like, she's like, but Auntie Ling says they're your favorite.
Yes.
I was like,
and then her friend looks at her and she's like, no.
Yeah.
She's just crazy. Okay. I had this, just one more thing. Two more things. Okay. So, I have this note about the grafting process mirrors the pressure to conform to others' expectations, blending science fiction with deeply personal questions of who am I if I'm remade?
Mm.
And then this whole movie, there is a physical, emotional, and metaphorical transformation throughout the whole film. What begins as a desire to evolve or improve quickly turns into a monstrous unraveling, highlighting how transformation under external pressure can be destructive rather than empowering.
Mm.
I loved that.
Yes.
Because you could apply it to so much. You could apply it to just the basics, like the professor wanting to do good in his field. Right?
Yeah.
And he becomes monstrous unraveling, stealing her work and, just that. Or the actual monstrous unraveling of grafting people's faces to your own. Like there's nuance and there's overt of this theme playing throughout it.
Totally. That's really interesting and well said. And it makes me want to rewatch the movie, watching for those changes.
Yeah. Because I think there's more nuanced ones. It's just like, it's almost everything. Every interaction, everything.
Yeah, what an interesting... They did this well where there's so many kind of players that influence each other, but it still feels very contained. It's like a very small circle of people, sort of, so it doesn't become unwieldy. Yeah. That is super well done. You know what I wondered? Maybe, I don't know. One of my first notes was, what is with this pink room? Like, her room is very pink, and there's pink curtains on 2 out of the 4 walls, the whole wall. And then downstairs in the living room where they put the shrine, or the altar,
the altar
is also like all pink. And I wondered what that was about.
I didn't take this note and we could look it up, but I did see something about the hyper feminine, something about the hyper femininity of it. I do have also neon, the cinematography blends neon lit cyberpunk elements with gritty rural horror. Think Euphoria meets The Fly.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
But I swear I saw a note that it was this.
I mean, I buy that. I think that's a really great explanation, because I wrote like womb like, but like I couldn't quite like tie that into anything, because I don't know. But I think, I mean, like, obviously a womb is feminine, but it definitely felt like with the light pink, it was very like hyper feminine. And again, I feel like that is another way that the movie is illustrating this social pressure.
Yeah, because even today there is that social pressure for women to be hyper feminine.
Yeah.
That's the ideal woman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree. I'm just saying that's what people say. I did do a quick Google. This is just what Google is saying. In the movie Grafted, pink, particularly in the form of a transformative liquid and in the film's overall aesthetic, is used to symbolize various aspects of the character's desire and the film's themes. The pink liquid derived from the strange flower represents Wei's ambition to alter her identity and appearance. The use of pink in the film's production design, particularly in Wei and Angela's house, further enhances the mood of unease and the character's struggles with their identities, as well as the social pressures they face.
Okay. That's not...
Nope.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was not well said at all. What? That was just a bunch of words put together.
Yeah, it was.
That was fucking hot air, dude. What?
I think it's what I said.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess what that said is true, but they didn't ever get to the point of it being because pink is a societally
chosen
pink, like feminine color.
Yes.
Yeah. You needed to walk us all the way there. Just,
yes.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, because even Eve, her makeup, her blush was super pink. Her eyeshadow, her outfits were pink. All of her outfits, actually, right, were pink. Yeah, she had the little pink sweater. Are you sure? And the little pink dress?
I think mostly. There was one that was like light blue, but that is all very like baby doll.
Baby doll,
yes. Yeah.
Baby
colors.
doll, that's a good one.
I also love, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Before we move on from that. I didn't think about the fucking liquid, but I should have. Like the
liquid
pink injectable. Yeah, which is awesome.
While I was reading it, I could see you out of the corner of my eye and I saw you nod your head. Yes, that's right.
Inject that weird color stuff into your body.
I'm onto something.
Lime green and pink.
Yes. I have the title Grafted refers not only to medical grafting, as in tissue grafts, but also to the emotional and social grafting of identities and roles. Bunch of words. I like my words. Let's see. Okay, I do have a couple things about the director, Sasha. She has previously directed award-winning music videos and short documentaries, often focusing on resilience and identity. She's also has a background in fashion photography and storytelling through visual art. And she has said that she's drawn to stories that explore outsiders finding their power, which definitely shows in this movie for sure.
Definitely. Although as we got toward the end, I was like, there's a little while where you like want her, you're like rooting for her because she obviously has had a hard life, and so you just want her to be happy. But then she starts fucking murdering people, and I like the kind of slippery slope of it. It's like she kind of murders Angela by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was kind of defending herself, and I don't know that she was aiming to kill, and you can tell that she feels bad about it immediately afterwards. But then when she kills Eve, she is
intentional.
She is like hunting her down, and she becomes really evil. And you're like, this is bad. And I was kind of feeling like, man, where are we going with this? Because I kind of don't want to see her succeed, because now she's done all this terrible stuff. I do want to watch some of these other people get it. Like
Yeah.
the teacher guy. I'm like,
Oh, that was great.
take his ass out. That's fine. But I was like, yeah, how are we going to end this? And I do feel like the grafting to the other man was like a sad, bad ending for both of them.
Yeah.
But it also felt like, I don't know. I liked it. I liked it because I felt like there were one of two ways it was going to end. Either she was going to get away and live her life, or they were going to, like, she was going to die. Like, I just felt like those were the two options, and neither one of those was going to feel right. But I do feel like the ending felt right to me in some weird, fucked up way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel there's a real life element to what you were saying there, because you have the underdog and you do want her to make it. And then she starts killing people. But all of these people that you do kind of want them to get theirs, they also have this underlying, because I felt the same way. No underlining with the teacher. I couldn't wait for him to get his. But the girls specifically, Angela, they did such a good job of showing how she's trying to fit in, and she, doesn't feel like her mom appreciates her, and she's just trying to fit in. And she is such an ass to Wei. She's so mean, but I would say not in a mean girl way, meaning mean for because I'm just an asshole and I'm just going to be mean to you sort of thing. She sees, like you'd mentioned, the competition, and Wei is kind of not calling her out, but making how Angela is different more apparent by Wei's presence. And she doesn't like that. And so they're fighting. So you don't necessarily, you want Angela to die because you want to see the horror of the grafting. But if we're talking about people, you don't want her to. This is a fucked up situation. Then you have Eve. She's a little bit harder to like because she is an ass. But if we really think about it too, all she has, I think all she feels like she has is her looks. Because there was the scene where the teacher was in bed with her and he was looking at this work and she was trying to seduce him. And he's like, why don't you just sit there like a good little girl, like shut your fucking mouth and be pretty. Like you couldn't even possibly understand any of this. So her only value is her looks. And that's probably exactly how she feels. And that's sad.
Yeah, right? I agree. That was a very humanizing moment for her character, because you were like, oh God, this woman is a bitch, but God, that sucks because she is not an idiot. And that's terrible of him to say. What a dick. Yeah.
So when she gets killed, like when she's chasing her down, I feel bad for her. I'm like, get away. Like part of me is like, oh my gosh, Eve, get away. And the other part of me is like, oh, I really want to see her grafted face on on Wei. So, but how she's killed, you guys, oh my God. She tries to, which I think was a really dumb thing to do. She tries to go under the water, which technically could be a smart move, but not if you don't know when the person is going to approach. How long do you plan on holding your breath? Like this has got to be a one and done. That person's going to be in and out of that room pretty quick. So she's in there. She starts bubbling. Wei takes a drill and just grabs her hair while she's still under the water and drills her head, and her hair gets caught up in the drill. Ah! Yeah. That was so gross. But anyways, that happened. And so that's what I was saying. She is now become a crazed she is bad now. Like we feel bad for her still. We have this empathy for Wei because of what she's been through, but we're like, nah, you've crossed the line.
Yeah, like this is too far.
We can't, to a point where you're like, you should pay for what you've done. And it's sad, but you've crossed the line. Yeah. And so when she meets him and she meets the homeless man, the vial breaks, her face and hand and stuff is grafting to him. This poor guy, he hides her from the authorities, because they've formed a friendship, and then she accidentally breaks the vial, and they graft together into this monstrous thing, very, very much like the substance at the end. Yep. I feel very much saying it could always be worse, right?
Yes,
because
totally.
Even the man, he was very, very severely burned and was outcasted from society and is homeless now and completely disfigured, burned. Very kind, loving man.
So nice.
So nice. So nice that you almost towards the end or towards the middle don't even see how disfigured he is anymore because of just his lovely personality, right? And he's so much worse now.
Yeah.
After that. And her search has put her down the spiral of now who cares about a birthmark on your chin?
Yes,
right?
Totally.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because then her Auntie Ling sees her out in a parking lot. And it's gruesome looking, but well done.
Well done.
But you feel bad for him. What's his name?
This poor guy. His name is
Jeff?
Mark. Oh, no, John.
Mark?
John. Sorry, John. Mark is the man's real name, the actor. John.
Got it. John. Yeah, John was... I was like, man, that really sucks for him.
Yeah, because he was trying to help her. I mean, she didn't try to do it. She wasn't... It was an accident, but... Yeah, he was so kind. He was the nicest character of the whole thing. The second nicest character would be Auntie Ling, but he was the nicest character. The third would be the other friend, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Because she also, I didn't know when she was going in to be a lab assistant if she actually, I don't think she just wanted to be a lab assistant, did she? I thought Eve was I thought she went in to see what was going on between the teacher and Way.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not. Maybe I totally misread that.
I assumed it was just, I thought, I don't know, this is maybe a bad read on it, but I assumed she was trying to also get in on the, on the Eve situation. Hey, I'll be your lab assistant and you give me good grades.
Yeah. That
is there sex involved in that? I don't know, but.
Because there was that internet action between them both where he was like, oh, yeah, sign up over here.
Yeah.
So either way, she was nice, but she also had her. John was just purely nice, kind person.
Yeah. Damn. But I just would have never guessed in a million years that that's where we were going to end.
Nope.
This movie. But
never.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. I'm here for it too. I really enjoyed it. That's all I have. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think I got through all my notes.
All right, then. Are you ready to rate it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, then, Tawny. What do you rate this movie?
Okay. I think I'm going to do... Let me get my thing out of the way. I'm going to give this a 4.75.
Nice.
That's...
Oh my gosh.
I can't even think of anything I didn't like, to be honest. So, it's got to be high.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I feel sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No.
I was just going to say, I feel like there's a lot of things in this movie, a lot of elements and a lot of kind of characters and themes, but they all come together so well. I really don't think anything was too much or anything. The pacing was good. It was a really enjoyable watch. So yeah, that's why 4.75.
Great success for a last minute movie. I was going to mention we were going to watch Sinners, but you heard in the beginning that I couldn't get to it. So I was like, what should we watch? Just started looking at different movies that were out on Shudder and different streaming services. And this was one that Tawny was like, I'd be interested in this. I'm like, yeah, me too. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know. It was very last minute and it was a winner.
Yeah, this was a winner. I also am going to go with a 4.75 because I was between a 4.7 and a 4.8 and I was kind of waffling. And so 4.75 I feel like is the sweet spot.
Yeah, hell yeah. This was a great movie.
Yeah. And the more I talked about it, the more we talked and the more I researched, I just liked it even more.
Yeah, same.
This is the kind of movie that it would be so fun to do a paper on, exploring even just one of the themes that was mentioned.
Yeah. It's really well done. That's crazy that it's a feature, like her first feature film. I mean, it's really good.
I'm excited to see what else she does. And it's going to be super, super easy to follow her because her name is so awesome.
Yeah.
Sasha Rainbow. If I ever see that, I'm going to be like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, because of Tawny's epic trip coming up, we're only going to have one episode this month. And then come June, we'll see where we're at. Maybe we'll be able to do 2. Maybe we'll see. We'll talk about it. We obviously don't know what we're going to review. Sinners is very high on the list, I assume, but we shall see. But in the meantime, if you... we really need to record more often because I always forget. I think it goes along something like, if you like us, please do go find us on social media. We are on all the social media platforms, 2 Chicks in a Horror Flick. And while you're there, give us a follow. And what else, Tawny?
If you want to support the show, you can give us a like, review, and subscribe on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. So thanks. We'll see you next time. Have a great night and have no nightmares.